Okay, so this is the Salvimar Deeper Freediving Watch, or I think they also market it as a spearfishing watch. The watch comes in this packaging right here. I bought it off of Dive-In, shipped directly to the Philippines from Spain. It comes in this hexagonal. This is a hexagon, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this hexagonal case. It came on like a styrofoam cylinder, and it didn't include a manual, so I'll put the manual in the links in the description. I've had 2 dive sessions with this so far, and it's not given me any issues. There are a couple of different modes. I don't wear this as a normal watch. I pretty much only use the dive mode. So it gives you, in the water, it'll give you the depth on the top, your surface time, and then for the previous dives, it'll give you your max depth, and then you can change this side. You can actually change both sides. You can cycle through, here's the temperature, that's dive number. This is, this is time of day, and then that's the dive time for the previous dive as well. So I only use it for this mode pretty much. There are other modes in here as well. Oh, I also go through past my dive records as well to just record my performance and how I'm doing. And then there's a stopwatch, timer, alarm. This is for other time zones and stuff. I don't really use that. And then the time setting. I only use the time setting to save battery because the dive setting will use up more battery. It says in the manual that it automatically goes back to the time setting, but I'm not that trusting. So in the dive settings, you're able to switch between imperial and metric. I keep it in metric. So it's meters and Celsius instead of feet and Fahrenheit. And then you can also set different dive alarms. You can set 5 different alarms. The different alarms will go off with 1 beep, 2 beeps, 3 beeps, 4 beeps, 5 beeps. I've turned them all off because it's not a vibration and I cannot hear it very well. I wear a hood, and that's okay. I haven't been able to dive with a watch that is particularly good with the alarm sound. I understand that probably at some point I'll have to get a watch that has vibrations if I really want alarms, but I don't really need those, so that's sort of a downside. The other downside is in the records, let's see, there's pretty limited information in here. So we get, that's the time of my first dive. This was yesterday. 3 meters. I think I was just clipping into a buoy time, and then it gives you the average time for that. Here's another dive record, 9.4 meters. The dive time is down here. There's the temperature, and that just shows the average depth and the dive time, and then that was the surface time that I had before going down. So it doesn't help me with, like, for example, right now I'm trying to work on my pace for my free immersion, which feels slow on the descent, and it definitely feels slower on the descent than the ascent. But I can't see a dive profile. I can't really determine how much faster I need to be pulling going down and stuff like that. So it's not helpful for that. It is just helpful for having a watch in the water. I was previously wearing just like a Casio G-Shock that's waterproof. probably like 30 or 40 US dollars. And that's good enough to just tell time, but I can't extract any data from it for my dives. So for a watch that I think I paid 5.7K PHP for this, so I'll show the number on the screen and the equivalent in US dollars right now. I would say it's pretty good. I'm curious to see how long it lasts, because it's less than $100. I think that should be right around 90 something. I'm curious to see how long it lasts. And the other concern I have is yesterday during my session, we got down to, I think the weight was about 40 meters, a little bit deeper than 40 meters. I got down and my watch showed 41.1 at the ball, and my friend's watch, which is a Garmin G1, showed 40.1, which is a pretty large discrepancy. 1 meter is a pretty large discrepancy. So maybe next time I go out and dive, I'll wear 2 watches just to see if that is what's happening, if the 2 watches really do give totally different readings. But I definitely trust the data enough. The line was marked past 40, so I definitely think it was at least 40 and a little bit. So I'll have to do an A/B test, or I guess I'll just go down with 2 watches on and see what the 2 separate readings are. But for now, I think this is a great watch to just wear and have and use. Again, the depth alarms can't really hear, and the data that you can pull from this isn't particularly in depth, especially for someone who wants to use the data to sort of hone their training. I'm lucky enough that I'm in no rush, and so I don't really have to optimize my training. Overall, I think this is definitely worth it for the cost. Of course, we'll have to see how the build quality is going forward to see if this lasts a long time. Oh, the other thing that I have a pretty small wrist, but there are a ton of holes on this wrist strap. So I wear, without it, my wetsuit on, I wear a 3mm. I'm at the 3rd link. With my wetsuit on, it's about the 4th or the 5th link. I'm from Boston, so if I were to dive in those sort of colder waters, I'd probably need to wear a 7mm, and I'm obviously not worried about wearing that and not being able to fit this over all of that equipment. So like I said, overall, really great so far. Of course, I'm only 2 sessions in. Working with Divin was good to ship to the Philippines. I think the only thing was it was stopped by UPS for a couple of days. It was stuck in a warehouse with customs, and I did have to pay an import fee, which I wasn't expecting to pay, because I thought that I had kept the value of my shipment below being flagged for any import fees, but it was about $8 in import fees, I think, that I paid on this. But it was part of a bundle. I bought some other stuff as well, so I'm not sure if it was just flat or also a percentage based on the contents of what I had shipped. Either way, ordering through Dive-In went well, and so far so good with this watch. I'll probably make another one of these videos maybe in 6 months, or definitely if there are issues with this watch, I will make a follow-up as well.